Welcome to Module 1. This module is going to introduce about WISE 4000 series. Let's get started. Upon completion of this module, we expect you will be able to handle the following tasks. Describe the role and the position of the WISE 4000 series in IoT industry. Identify the series family and different type of working mode. You should understand the communication protocol and security that is used. Describe the advantage of this module. And also, you should understand what is the type of antenna of default accessory and the hardware initial mode or infrastructure mode. This is the outline. First, we will introduce the concept of remote I/O and features of WISE 4000 series, and also show you some application story. In the Industrial 4.0, every status of object is very important to let data center know how to do the right action for each object to achieve the biggest productivity. WISE is the acquisition module to gather status of object. WISE supports cloud server. It can directly upload data to them without passing through platform-based device. Here, we call that WISE is IoT APP. APP is a term to describe the product advantage for WISE series. A is acquisition. WISE supports different kind of I/O type. The user can choose the module based on the demand. P is processing. WISE also supports different kind of input range, scaling, average, and filtering. It can do the data processing to make more meaningful for the user. P is publish. In addition to public data to the cloud server service, WISE also supports built-in web server. Also, WISE integrates web access. They communicate with each other by popular MQTT data protocol. There are two benefits for wireless solution. First, a wireless module is easier to extend the deployed location than a wired module. A wired module has the distance limitation referred to the length of the wire. Second, wireless can save the wiring and deployment cost. Therefore, if a user doesn't want to make wiring or the I/O points move frequency, the user can consider the wireless solution. The following we take two applications for examples. Wireless module is very suitable for the industry whose facility move frequently for purpose of changing product line. Moreover, because wireless module is easy to be installed without the effort for wiring, it is also suitable for the wired space, which doesn't have the network communication. This product series supports data login in local memory and update the data to cloud service. This slide shows one of the successful cases, Advantech Kunsan SMT factory. Advantech Kunsan factory is one major manufacturing center of Advantech in China. To undertake automation, embedded computer, and intelligent service for products manufacturing, Kunsan Manufacturing Center SMT production lines are placement machines, printing presses, dispenser, reflow soldering, and wave soldering machines. In order to monitor the status of equipment and integrate into the equipment management system, it uses WISE wireless acquisition module, AKI communication product, web access configuration software. You can always grasp the SMT production line equipment status. On on-site visual management, and remote monitoring and timing processing. The second successful case we are going to share is about commercial punching machine monitoring. This company, they produce precise punching components for commercial electric products, mainly for the aluminum case of Panasonic digital camera and other famous brand cell phone. There are totally 500 punching machines, injection molding machines, and CNC machines in this project. Most of the machines are pure mechanical machines without PLC for collecting the yield rate and operation status. So they use WISE wireless series to collect the status from the machines and send it to the control room through EKI. Here are the key functions we provided. First, wireless connectivity reduces the efforts of wiring the difficulty during production line change. Second, the counter function of WISE 4050 updates the yield rate without employee filling the paperwork manually. And also, WISE 4012 collecting the signal from CT sensor to realize the OEE of each machine and alarm the error status. All of the information are integrated with ERP and reports to control room for further action. This application story is for parking lot environment monitoring. For example, Carrefour in Taiwan, their parking lot uses WISE 4012 to monitor temperature and air quality data through a sensor, and use WISE 4050 to control the status of the LED to show their customer which parking space is empty. This application story is commercial refrigerator monitoring. It is using the existing wireless environments of supermarkets or convenience stores. The refrigerator can be monitored and maintained before damage. With power-saving system, it can also reduce the electronic fee. This application scenario is data center rack environment monitoring. The operating parameters of environment is very important for data center. Continuous monitoring can prevent accidental faults of data server and also help to reduce the power needs of air condition. External wireless can reduce the wiring effort and won't interference the existing network. This slide shows plant factory environment monitoring. Monitoring the growth parameters is quite important in plant factory. Wireless module reduce the need of operator and no need to set up wired Ethernet in factory. The concentration of nutrient solution can also be monitored and logged. For the example, WISE 4012, it can connect with temperature, humidity, HPEC light sensor, and send the data to the control room. Next part, we are going to introduce the features of WISE 4000 series. First is the overview of all features, then each chapter will introduce each feature in detail, including software, firmware, and hardware. Now let's overview with Series 5 family. Please remember the specification of each 4000 modules. There are some common design ideas in this series family. First, there are two different types of DI channel, dry contact and wet contact. For RS485 ports, A WISE module is playing a role of Modbus RTU master, which can only connect with Modbus RTU slave. For WISE 4012 education model, there is an USB with web access project as part of the accessories. WISE 4000 series divided into wireless LAN interface and LAN interface. Their concept is the designing concept is the same. There are variable analog inputs between different models. Some models only accept current input. Some accept current and voltage inputs with different range. Digital inputs for logic level are the same for all model names with DI input. But the sampling rate is very different. For example, WISE 4012, it can reach maximum 10 Hz for all of the channels that you enabled. And for 4050 and 4060, their hardware design is different, so they can reach maximum 3 kHz for sampling rate. And 4050, 4060, they support 32-bit counter input function. Next, let me introduce how WISE 4000 series works. Here we list out the top features of WISE 4000 IoT wireless series. Advantech provides 2 years warranty. WISE is the wireless module which supports IEEE 802.11 BGN 2.4 GHz. WISE supports two kinds of operation mode, AP mode and infrastructure mode. Moreover, WISE can be the web server which lets you use a web browser to monitor, control, and configure data. It supports HTML5, which let the web configuration page fit in any size of devices. For the communication protocol, WISE supports traditional industrial protocol such as Modbus TCP, Modbus RTU, and web-based protocol, RESTful API, which widely used in IoT environment. And of course, WISE is the data logger, which can log I/O and system information with the timestamp. In the next slides, I will introduce each features one by one in detail. First, let me explain the operation mode. WISE has two kinds of operation mode: AP mode and infrastructure mode. In AP mode, WISE will broadcast the SSID, which is composed by module name and MAC address. Then you can use your mobile device or laptop to connect with WISE directly through the SSID to make the configuration and diagnosis. In this mode, WISE is a limited AP which just can allow one connection because of its resource limitation. In this way, you don't need, when you forget the IP address of the WISE module, you can make it as AP mode and then connect to it directly. The second is infrastructure mode. WISE and all monitoring devices are the wireless client of access point. In this situation, WISE can have more capability to accept up to 4 connections. In the real application, the customer uses the multiple devices to monitor data from WISE. Therefore, we usually suggest the customer use WISE in infrastructure mode. In infrastructure mode, WISE can accept up to 4 connections. If there are already 4 connections, the service will let you add a new one until the WISE release one of the existing connection. If a WISE module is using firmware A2 version or newer version, there only 3 connections are allowed. The 4th one is reserved for web utility. But of course, this default setting can be modified. But there is a lot of services. What kind of service occupy the connection? Here I list out of the service list: Modbus TCP, RESTful command, cloud service, push notification, SMTP, and web configuration page. To be noticed, each service occupied one connection. RESTful command, upload function, web configuration page, and UDP search. These functions will terminate the connection after the request response task is finished. But for others, push function and SMTP will occupy a TCP connection and terminate it after a user disables the function. In addition, Modbus TCP connection will always occupy or release the TCP connection depend on the behavior of the server. For example, third-party software ModScan will occupy the TCP connection once the connection is established. The other one is Advantech Modbus sample code. It will release the TCP connection once the data is retrieved. In the below of this slide, this is an example to teach you how to calculate the connection. If the customer uses following service: private server plus push notification plus 2 web configuration page. Based on the rule I have mentioned, 1 plus 1 plus 2, the answer is 4 connections is existed now. It means that if the customer wants to add one more service, this service will not be allowed. WISE has 2 status, normal status and initial status, which can be controlled by switch 1 at the back on the backside. In the normal status, WISE can be AP mode and infrastructure mode. In the initial status, WISE is focused into AP mode, and the AP address is also forced into default IP address. For the LAN version is 10.0.0.1. For wireless version, it's 192.168.1.1. With the help of mechanism of initial status, you can easily make the quick configuration and diagnosis just by switching the switch 1. The WISE initial configuration tool is useful when a customer just purchased a patch of WISE modules. The customer just need to set up the configuration on one of them, and other modules can just group upload the configuration file, so it can shorten the setting time for the customer. This group configuration tool is suitable for a lot of WISE modules, and they are already working in infrastructure mode. This tool supports group firmware upgrade and config file upload to a number of WISE modules at one time. Different than the previous method, this mass upgrade tool allows a user to upgrade the firmware or configuration file without one-by-one connection to individual WISE module. This tool is using TCP connections and the module list provided by user. The previous one is using UDP connection. So maybe every time you search, every time the tool would put different module in the list, depend on the Wi-Fi environment. Topology check tool helps users to check their topology in the field, or for the FAE to check their topology. This tool uses UDP protocol to search, and the result is shown on the right side. It will show the existing access point and the connecting WISE series. WISE Studio and Apex.NET utility can help users to reset their password if they forget it. The key point is to switch off the switch at the backside of the module, make the module working in initial mode, and then power off the module within 10 seconds if they click on Reset Password button. This procedure is to make sure the user can access the hardware of the device to prevent the malicious attacks from the internet. WISE is a web server and supports HTML5, which can let user log in WISE web configuration page. Because every popular web browser supports HTML5. In other words, you can use any device supports HTML5 browser to configure WISE. Moreover, with the help of HTML5, web configuration page can fit in different resolution of screens. It is a very user-friendly design. Next chapter, let me introduce about communication protocol. WISE supports 3 different kinds of protocol: Modbus TCP, RESTful API, and MQTT protocol. Modbus TCP is widely used in the traditional industry environment. Many controllers support this protocol. Therefore, WISE is very easy to be integrated within the existing devices. RESTful is a software architecture style and widely adopted in IT applications. It is based on HTTP protocol. Any device which supports HTTP protocol can communicate with WISE. Therefore, you can monitor and control WISE very easily by your mobile or laptop. Moreover, the most different from Modbus protocol is that RESTful command supports all of the configuration setting of WISE module. It is really convenient to change configuration in the HTTP environment and doesn't need any additional program to do it. All of WISE Wi-Fi and LAN series supports Modbus TCP protocol. While using Modbus TCP protocol, WISE acts as a Modbus slave. Only WISE 4051 supports Modbus RTU protocol. While using Modbus RTU protocol, WISE acts as a Modbus master. It can connect with maximum 8 Modbus slaves devices and 32 Modbus addresses. If a user is using firmware version A2 or a newer version, a user can set up maximum 20 rows or 64 Modbus addresses. For MQTT protocol, WISE supports 2 different kinds of broker. All of WISE 4000 series supports web access MQTT, which also using standard MQTT protocol, but for web access payload standard. This standard helps web access accept the commands and configurations and all the association functions to communicate with WISE 4000 series. Another one is iSensing MQTT services on WISE 4000 series. This function is also a standard MQTT protocol, but using WISE-defined payload, data payload. About these two MQTT protocol, they will be described in detail in Module 6. Next, let me introduce about the security we applied in WISE 4000 series. In this series, it supports WPA2 and EAP encryption. For all public cloud services, WISE upload the data by HTTPS secured protocol. For private server, the HTTPS is an optional. Moreover, you need to do the user authentication to validate the identity before logging into web configuration page or send the RESTful command. Connect broker with WebSockets encrypted format through MQTT protocol. You can enable SSL or TLS. This is the mechanism to prevent someone else to change WISE configuration or steal the data. Next, let me introduce about data logger function. WISE is a file-based data logger, which has the internal memory to storage data of I/O and system information. With the help of this function, historical data can be kept in local memory. There are 5 important key features of data logger. I will introduce them one by one. The first one, upload historical data after connection restored. Sometimes the wireless signal may be reduced or non-existent. During this period, WISE can upload data. In order to deal with this problem, WISE has the mechanism to upload the historical data after the connection is back. And what is the mechanism of it? Whenever WISE successfully uploads a data, it will record that data address. Based on the address, WISE can know which data is not uploaded successfully and need to be re-uploaded when the communication is restored. Therefore, a user won't lose any data even if Wi-Fi connection environment is not in very good condition. But how does a WISE know which data is uploaded successfully? When a WISE is uploading data, it needs 3 steps. Establish TCP connection, using RESTful to upload data to the cloud service, and then terminates the TCP connection. After the TCP connection is released, the historical data uploading is completed, and there is a flag recording the address of the last data. The second feature is to reduce the communication time and bandwidth. In the traditional Modbus polling behavior, periodic polling data takes a lot of time and bandwidth. In order to reduce them, WISE push a batch of historical data in CSV file instead of polling behavior. About data upload, a user can choose this event is triggered periodically or only while change of state. Periodic upload can be broken down into time periodic and item periodic. This function can be set in the data upload page. The third feature is data storage with timestamp. Timestamp is an important feature for the data logger. There is a built-in real-time clock (RTC) in WISE module. User can use it to trace data according to the timestamp. To adjust the time, user can adjust it manually or set SMTP server to collaborate the internal RTC. RTC will keep working when the module is powered off because there is a backup battery inside the module. In addition, there is daylight saving time setting for different user zone. The fourth feature, up to 10,000 samples local data storage. The internal flash of WISE module can log up to 10,000 samples of data with the timestamp. Data can be kept in the data logger even if WISE is powered off. There are some actions the user can decide with the data logger. Once the module is powered on, you can decide to continue logging or clear all data. Keep logging is the default setting. Once the memory is full, you can choose to stop the logging or overwrite the old data to ring log. Stop the log is the default setting. All of these settings parameters can be modified in I/O configuration page. The fifth one, WISE supports a lot of cloud services. For the public cloud, it supports eLearning, Dropbox, Microsoft Azure, or more and more is coming. All of these cloud servers transmits the data by HTTPS security protocol. For Modbus, for MQTT protocol, WISE uses WebSocket security with or without TLS SSL security function. For the private server, you can use the sample codes to establish your own server. Advantech provides C#, VB, Node.js sample code for the private server. HTTPS is an optional protocol if you choose that you can choose to encrypt the data. In the last section, I'm going to introduce the hardware overview of WISE 4000 series. WISE is using antenna to transmit and receive the data. The type of antenna in the default accessory is omnidirectional. The gain of the default antenna we provided is 3.26 dBi, and connector of the antenna is reverse SMA. Any kind of antenna whose connector is reverse SMA can be equipped on WISE module. You can replace the antenna referred to the demand. WISE module provides LED indicators on the front panel of the module. A user can check instantly with the device configuration and network communication quality through those LED indicators. This design can help you to do the quickly diagnosis on the site's environment. More information of LED is in the user menu. Moreover, how to do the diagnosis with LED? You can check the FAQ on the link on this slide. WISE adjusts the DI sensor type, dry contact and wet contact by the switch at the backside. Besides, WISE adjusts its own status, initial and normal status by the switch too. We put those switches at the backside of the WISE so you can adjust it very easily. Also, there are the detail label of the switch and MAC addresses at the backside label. For both Wi-Fi and LAN version, it takes 10 to 30 voltage DC standard power input, but only for WISE 4012E version, the IoT developer kit. There is a micro B connector, which provides the power from the computer through the USB socket. Because of this design, a user can very easily power on the module at any places. Thanks for your listening. Have a nice day.